Anything yet.
I already see comments popping up right here.
Let's go. Love that.
Welcome back to Big Nick Energy YouTube channel. Another post game here with Mill. I'm joined with Joe tonight. Thank you for joining me, Joe.
You're very welcome. It's always good to join you with a windmill.
I know it's always nice doing a post game show with a win because with a loss, I'm a lot more upset and I'm definitely going on rants. But we got a win tonight against the Spurs, 105, 126. We beat them by a good amount as well, so it was a nice game to watch. And it did get a little scary there in that last quarter. They were able to cut it down. Not as close, but I think it was up to 14. They cut it down to.
Yeah.
Um,
And when
compared
we
to
when you're up 30, that 14 feels a little too close.
Definitely. It was scary.
Yeah.
It didn't get closer than that, but it was scary to see them cut it down to 14 because, they were saying it themselves. In today's NBA, leads can diminish very fast, especially with the 3-point shot. And they were hitting their threes in that second half, but luckily they couldn't get any closer and we got the win. I chose to highlight these three players right here, Randall, Brunson, and RJ. I actually wanted to fit in a few more because a lot of people contributed to this game tonight, including Quickly. And I even wanted to highlight Robinson as well, just for the matchup against Wemby. So, a lot of guys played good tonight, but here's the three I decided to put up. Very consistent numbers. This is the second game we've seen Randall play consistent and have a nice all around game. So I'm very happy about that as well because besides the last game, it was a little scary seeing what we saw from him. I don't know how you felt about that. If you felt like he was going to get in rhythm eventually, is that what you thought?
All numbers go to the mean sooner or later. I know people hate math, but it exists for a reason. The guy isn't going to shoot 25% for a whole season. It wasn't going to happen. But Mill, I want to talk about two things first and foremost. If you want to stick with Randall, we can do that. But as a Knick fan, I feel like we have to talk about RJ Barrett. Exactly. Star J. Oh my God. When you turn 23, you hit your prime, apparently, is what I'm finding out. I want to start with Star J, and then I want to talk about Victor Wembanyama thinking MSG is not that big. And then those lights were too damn bright for that boy, let me tell you.
I know. We were all expecting maybe a better game because he did only put up. Let's see, how many did he have in total here?
Wemby had 14. He was a team worst minus 25. He had three turnovers, but he was 4 of 14 for those 14 points. Didn't make a single three, and his first field goal came with a minute left in the third quarter. Mitch, the Loch Ness monster, shut this man down. No, let me rephrase. He shut this boy down. Wemby is tiny. He looks small. It was Nikola Jokic saying Chet Holmgren needs to get fat out there. Because Victor Wembanyama is 7'5" and about 210 soaking wet. And Mitch is 7 foot, and he was 210 4 years ago. He bullied the F out of that kid, and he could not handle it. Literally, there was one time Wembanyama was actually behind him, and you could tell from all the games prior to this that Wemby could do a back tip to himself just by being taller than whoever he's going against. And Mitch being actually as long as he is, almost the same height. I mean, 4 inches, like, me to someone 6 foot when you're 5'8", not close. But when you're 7 foot to 7'4", kind of close. You could tell that Wemby was used to getting that, and he didn't get it on Mitch that one time, and he was like, oh, damn, I am actually not as big as I need to be for this matchup specifically. Didn't make his first shot until almost the fourth quarter. I thought it was too small, man. I thought it wasn't that big. What happened to your pregame? I don't know.
That's hilarious. That was right. He said the garden didn't look too big. He thought it was going to be bigger, and he came out here. The lights were too bright, I guess. But that was hilarious. I know that the media is gonna go crazy with his stat line tonight. I mean, he had a better second half than he did a first half. Only 2 points in the first half, I believe. I'm glad he was able to get some points up there because if he ended the game with 2 points, I know our fandom would have
Oh,
went
that would have been so
absolutely
good.
crazy. We would have went crazy. National media would have went crazy talking about his debut at the Garden. A lot of people expected a lot better because it is MSG, the world's most famous arena, and this is Victor Wembanyama. So he's going to be, one of the greatest in the future. We did expect maybe like a 30 ball game or a 20 point even. Like you said, Mitchell Robinson handled him. He bodied him down low. And even Isaiah Hartenstein, when he was guarding him as well, he was
He
able to
made
take care of
back-to-back
business.
little hook shots on him, one with his left hand, one with his left hand. iHeart did. Like, dude, I get it. You're going to be one of the best of all time in 25, 30 years from now. You're small and they're big. Like, you have to get bigger. You can't do yoga all the time. Put some weight on, kid.
No, yeah, he definitely knows that. And I think it was frustrating for him a little bit tonight to actually go against a player like Mitchell Robinson. I don't think he's ever, been against someone like that before and got bodied the way he had tonight. Got out rebounded, and Mitch is probably the best in this league right now with getting offensive rebounds and rebounds in general. So he definitely came out and probably didn't expect to get bodied the way he did and bullied tonight. But Mitch is one of the best, and I'm glad that he got to show that on national TV, because a lot of people underappreciate and underrate Mitch as a center, as a defensive player. I even saw when he did the post-game interview the last game, and he compared Wembanyama to Bol and I think Porzingis. A lot of people, and he said he was basically ready to guard Wemby because he's guarded players like that before, and he knows a little bit about it. And a lot of people were replying saying, like, who is this guy? Does he really think he knows what he's doing? He came out here and showed everyone he does know what he's doing, and he's one of the best defensive centers and a great rebounder in general and an underrated center. So yeah, that's Mitch right there. We were talking about RJ though. We got a little distracted there getting into Mitch and Wemby, but Star J, it's unbelievable to see what he's been doing this season, especially the three-point shot. Tonight, he was 5 for 9 from the three. I think that's the thing that's surprising me the most, honestly, is his three-point shot, because we know he struggled with it last year. So to see him so confidently shoot it this year and shoot it well, I'm very happy about that. And, 24 points overall. And the 6 assists, I'm surprised about that as well, just because, he's not really known for having that many assists, I would say, but getting that 6 assists along with Brunson and Randall, they all shared the ball really well tonight. And the key to that was that everyone made their shots mostly. We had a really good shooting night, especially in the first half.
Facts. And the thing is, we say it all the time. Jalen Brunson isn't he's not a Chris Paul point guard, right? He's not going to get you 12 and 12. Like, I'm not looking for this guy to get 12, 10 assists in a game. But with him being out there as the guy with the ball in his hand the most, we need RJ and Randall, and then quickly, or DDV when they come off the bench, Hart a little bit even, iHeart. Like, we have so many guys. Yeah, sure, we're not expecting anyone to get 10 assists in a game, but we have 7 out of our 9 in the rotation that we could get 4 on a given night. And I'm not looking for all of them to do it at the same time, but between all the guys we have that are connectors, that have years and years of history now, all that I want them to do is get to 28 assists a game. I'm not asking for 35. I definitely don't want to see 20 though, which is what we're at some of our worst games. We're getting 18, 12, 18, 16, 20 assists a game. To get 28 isn't asking for that much if you make 35, 40 shots in a game. It's just don't go ISO all the time. So this split 5, 6, and 6, so good. And you hit the nail on the head. RJ has improved so much with his shot so far. Knock on wood, knock on everything I possibly could. If I'm not expecting this dude to shoot 43% from 3 from the year, I'm not expecting him to shoot 52% from the field for the year or 87% from the line. Or whatever he is at the line right now. I'm not expecting him to stay that high. But if he could stay over 45 for field goals, over 37 for 3-point, and then just stay over 80 for the free throw line, then me saying that if RJ ever becomes an all-star, he's going to be 27 years old, I'm dead wrong. And that's going to happen when he's 23, 24 years old, which would be so monumentally better and probably one of the best things I would ever happily admit all of the L's I could possibly take being a right or wrong about a player on. If RJ Barrett does literally become the best player on our team, which he's showing, I would say in 4 of the 6 games he's played, he's been the best player on our team. And we have a winning record with him in the lineup. We lost both games he didn't play in. That is worth so much. So much to what we can possibly do. I just want to make sure I said that right. We are 3-2 with him in the lineup, right? And then 0-2 without. Or no, they're 4-4. I'm pretty sure it's 4-2 and 0-2. So, RJ, just keep doing what you're doing, man. That's all. I don't care. I don't need you to put up 40. I don't need you to get 10 assists. I don't need you to go 7 for 7 from deep. I don't need you to go 9 for 9 from the line. Just do what you're doing, and then you're doing a phenomenal job of staying on your man and occasionally adding some help defense. You're not getting back cut as much. You're not getting lost. You're not ball watching. The only thing I want you to stop doing that you do all the time is that you hold your follow through on a 3-pointer for about 4 seconds, when after 1 second you could probably go for the rebound or run back. I don't know. That's probably it. That's the only thing I still see you do that I'm like, stop doing that. I love this man's improvement, though. It's so amazing. It's so fantastic to witness. And yes, it took 5 years, but he's only 23 damn years old. And if I have to wait till he's 28 to make his first All-NBA team, as long as he keeps going up and up and up every single year, that is all I want to see. And I've loved it so far.
Completely agree. I love the consistent shooting we're seeing from him. And he, underrated on the defensive end, he's been stepping up as well. I think last year on the defensive end, it was a different story. He struggled a bit, and we would see just a lack of effort, or just a lack of, trying his best on the defensive end. Sometimes he would just get passed by a player. But this year has been a different story so far, and I'm really glad to see it. I do think if he keeps this up that he could potentially make the All-Star team. I don't know about All-NBA, but All-Star team is up there if he keeps performing like this. And yeah, I'm just super happy to see it. I hope he keeps it up. Like, I don't want him to go through this great stretch that he's in right now and then enter a really bad shooting stretch. But it's expected. These players are human, and Julius Randle just started off the season awful. So, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes players get into funks and they can't shoot for a little bit. But hopefully that's not the case with RJ, because I just want him to keep playing like this all season. It's really contributing to winning basketball. When he was out those few games, it really hurt the Knicks. They lost those games. And with him back, we're a different team. And I think everyone is just playing better with him in the lineup. And he contributes so much to it. He's really improved this year. He could even you think he could go for most improved this year? I think that'll be a little difficult.
Most improved is such a weird thing to even try to quantify or think about. Like, there's a chance that Ja Morant comes back 25 games in, and all of a sudden he's he's already a great player, but he becomes even a better player, and then also becomes like a philanthropic like NBA player that's donating mad money and like holding youth movements and shit, and then all of a sudden Ja Morant's the most improved player. Or like Scotty Barnes, who had a terrible second season after being great in the first season because they forced him to be a point guard, even though he's not a point guard. But like, then all of a sudden he's who knows, but like, for RJ Barrett to make an all-star team with how deep the wings are in the East is fantastic. It's unbelievable. It's really amazing. My only thing is that, and I'm guilty of this too, I want to say first and foremost, I have only voted in like 2 real life elections. That shows how much I don't vote for anything, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I don't vote for the All-Star game most of the time, and apparently a crap ton of people in New York don't vote, because Jalen Brunson would have 100% been an All-Star if we voted even like 10% of what other teams' fan bases vote for last year. Like, it's on us, man. Like, Victor Wembanyama was terrible today. He's been good a lot of the time, but like, Victor Wembanyama is going to be an All-Star this year. No ifs, ands, or buts, because he's a whole country voting for him. If he averaged 10 and 10 and wasn't worth making the All-Star team, just through fan voting alone, he's making the All-Star team. Yao Ming made it like 9 years in a row, I think. 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there. He didn't play almost half of 2 of the seasons. Like, if you just get votes, you make the All-Star team. It has almost nothing.
Yeah,
it has
same thing with
a little
Derrick
to do
Rose.
with split play. Yeah, exactly. Dude, Derrick Rose was 8th in voting last year for guards. He didn't play after like December 12th. Like, what?
That's crazy. And I think Derrick Rose has been getting a lot of votes, consistently throughout these past years.
Even when he abandoned the Knicks that one year for like 15 games, he got votes that year. He just like what he meant to the city of Memphis and city of Chicago. Yeah, he like, we all talk about like RJ stands, IQ stands. I mean, there's a couple Randall stands. Angelo is probably the only one I know that we actually interact with a lot. But there are stands of every player. Derrick Rose seems like he walked up to every one of his fans and gave him $100 bill. They've stuck with him through thick and thin for almost 2 decades. Really respectable.
Yeah. I just want to point out one thing that led us to this win tonight was the amount of turnovers we had in this game. We only had 4, I believe. That's what I heard at the end of the broadcast. We got 1 like in the last minute. It was going to be 3, and I think they were going to break a record of some sort.
I'm on Yahoo right now, and it has Randall has 2, and Daquan Jeffries has 1. So I don't know if they either took 1 away or if 1 was like a shot. I think 1 was a shot clock violation, right?
Might have been.
Off of the tip. So yeah, I think that would be the 4 we had. Daquan Jeffries, man, in the 1 minute you played, you got a turnover. Why would you do that?
I know, because I think my brain said something about if we had only 3, it would have broke a record. But it is what it is, because I'm still, glad that we only had 4, 2 in the first half. That's, the Knicks looked very good tonight playing wise. No, it wasn't sloppy at all, really. And RJ said it in the post-game interview. It could be mainly because this is the same squad that they were playing with last year. This is like basically the same team, just added DiVincenzo. These guys know.
Do you mean if you run it back, it could be a good thing?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that the chemistry is there, and these guys know how they play with one another. They know each other's playing styles. They know Randall's playing style now, and they know Brunson's playing style exactly. So look how that leads to. Well, it's only 1 game. I'm not gonna go crazy and say we're never gonna turn over the ball ever again.
And the Spurs are terrible for what it's worth. Like they're gonna get like 25 wins this year.
True. But if we can limit the turnovers each game to, I don't think we could ever do 4 again, but if we can limit the turnovers like we did tonight and just play smart basketball, play off of each other, and make the right passes like we did, that could lead to more wins. They look like they're getting back into rhythm, honestly. Randall is, another great night from him. RJ's been in rhythm since the season started, but Brunson, he's also getting into rhythm because we did see a few streaky performances when the season started. So everyone looks like they're playing pretty good, and Mitch as well has been in rhythm since the season started. He's been great. But yeah, everyone's great this game at least. And
yeah.
And hopefully they can continue to limit their turnovers. I think it'll be a really big factor in upcoming games.
I want to ask you a question just as a fan, because the lineup we saw at the end, I mean, granted, the end was like kind of the end for like 4 minutes because this game was never within 13 points or 12 points. It was, I think 13 was the lowest it got. The closing lineup we saw for the part that was in essence a closing lineup when they were making that run. Brunson, IQ, RJ, Randall, Mitch. Hart, Grimes, DDV, iHeart, I guess I'm not counting with those 3 because if Mitch is in foul trouble, iHeart would be with the 4. But Hart, DDV, and Grimes, more often than not, should be the odd men out and not be the ones closing. Am I the only one that thinks that? Like, I think IQ should be above them more often than not. And RJ is literally just taking the leap to being our second best player. Sorry, Julius Randle, apparently. I thought it was going to happen another year from now, but maybe I was a year off. So Brunson, Randall, RJ obviously can't get benched. Mitch, iHeart are interchangeable, but IQ seems like he should separate himself from the other 3 more often than not. Is that just me, or am I wrong?
Definitely not just you. I agree with you that IQ should be closing out the games over some of the guys you listed, like Hart. There was actually a game recently. I don't remember which one it was against, but it was a loss. And I remember Tibbs subbed out IQ for Josh Hart. And I wouldn't necessarily say that led to...
I think it was Milwaukee.
Yeah, I believe it was that one too. I wouldn't necessarily say that led to the Knicks' loss, but down the stretch, we were only relying on Brunson at that point because that game he had 45? Or
Brunson, yeah. 42.
42. And
45. No, you're right. 45.
They were only relying on Brunson, and he did miss that shot at the end. But I just think that having IQ in there could be really helpful because he is someone who creates his own shot. And he's a decent defensive player. A lot of people said that Hart was in there, obviously for defensive purposes, but I don't count IQ out. I mean, and in those final moments when we need offense, we need someone to make a shot. I want to, and that was a game that Randall was struggling as well. So who you go to for offense? You go for Brunson. RJ wasn't playing, and you should go to IQ next because he is a great offensive player that can score the ball.
And he could create it on his own. The same game that you're talking about, Grimes had 17, but Grimes, we've seen it, even though we want him to be able to create his own shot, he can't, or he doesn't. I don't know which one it is, but it's not happening. So to have Brunson be out there and have Randall go through, we all can see when Randall is having a bad Randall game, whether you want to call it like mentality, head case, emotion, whatever you think it is. If his shot's not falling and he's having a bad time, he's having a bad time. And to not have RJ in the game that you're talking about, I really hope that we don't see IQ not close a game again unless either of any of those three guys is like leaps and bounds better than him that game. And for what it's worth, from what I'm seeing from Grimes, I know, and DDV's even closed playoff games before, so I kind of almost, even though hasn't been on the team as long, I almost trust him more than Hart and Grimes at various points, because at the end of the day, a lot of the problem is that you don't have someone that can shoot from deep and like cause spacing for this team that usually lacks spacing. And he shoots 40%, and IQ shoots like 38%, but is also the best out of the four of them at dribbling and like handles and creating his own shot. I just don't want to see him not close, you know? IQ has been on and off my favorite player on the Knicks during like this iteration of the Knicks. And I want him to stay on the team, even though them not re-signing him or extending him does make me have some doubts, especially once the trade line gets closer and closer. If we struggle at any point and like, it's like, oh, well, they still need another wing. Like, yeah, they have like almost no wing. So that makes sense. So I hope not to go through that, but last live podcast, what up? How you guys doing? Also, Ray, what up? I just said what up. And let's go to Jose's comment. Mitchell Robinson is a great player around the rim. Not the best at finishing, can't make free throws, and while you say those things, people are like, oh my God, if you like don't watch basketball enough, you don't think about it, that sounds like he can't do a lot. Free throws are annoying to watch someone be bad at, but it is what it is. And no one asks Mitch to really finish. He is the best. No pause, no caveat, dead stop, the best rebounder playing in the NBA right now. No Andre Drummond, no Steven Adams, nobody else. It is Mitchell Robinson. And he is a top 5 defensive center in the NBA right now. Dead stop, no caveat, nothing. And for anyone to think that this dude is not fantastic in the role he has, and to not make the top 25 centers hoops hype in the offseason, we watched Mitchell Robinson bullied. You had Jared Allen like 9th, and Jared Allen wouldn't even be able to take this dude's caddy. He wouldn't be able to caddy for this man at the golf course. That's how whack this dude was covering a guy that didn't make your top 25. Is it anti-Knicks for Clips? I really don't know what the thought process is behind it. I really think a lot of writers just aren't from New York and therefore they hate the big city, but then LA gets so much love because LA's kind of cool, man, and the Lakers. And like, dude, Mitch Robinson's effing fantastic, and I'm so glad on national TV we got to see Victor Who's Your Mama get punked by the Block Ness monster. Absolutely punked by this man.
You said it best. I mean, you perfectly said it. Mitch can't hit free throws, can't really do anything offensively besides tip-ins, lobs. But he's so underrated that you just have to watch the games to understand why. You have to be a Knicks fan to understand why, because that's why the casuals on social media, when he said that thing about Wemby, that's why they said what they said. They don't expect him to go out there and guard Wemby like that because they don't know him. They don't know his game and his defensive power.
Mitch made a whole country sad tonight. A whole country is crying because of Mitchell Robinson.
No, literally. They should definitely go praise him now and call themselves wrong because they were wrong. If you think I don't even know what to say honestly, but Mitch bullied Wemby like you said over and over. I wanted to point out something though. I don't know your thoughts on this. I don't know if you saw it yet, but ESPN did come out with a list, the NBA 25 under 25, and Wemby made the cut, but you know who didn't are a few of our Knicks players. Number one being RJ didn't make it, or quickly. What do you think about them not making this list?
I made a poll before and Angelo took it down, but I literally made a poll right before tip off or right before the end of the game. What is more insane after watching this? RJ is in a top 25 under 25, or Mitchell Robinson is in a top 25 center, and it's insane. I want to go and see. I literally just almost touched my screen like it's a touch screen because I have my phone next to the computer, and that doesn't work out that well. It turns out. So I want to like see the list because I was looking at it before real quick.
Yeah, you can look at it.
While I'm looking it up, what is your original take?
I didn't even get to really look through it too, but I heard that Wemby made the cut, and then I looked through to see if any Knicks made it. Didn't see any, and then I just immediately thought, wow, like how can you not have RJ Barrett in there, especially with the season he's projected to have. I think they made this list with the thought of how these players are going to perform this season, because Wemby has only played like a few games now. Not even.
Well, the idea is that they're projecting who I would imagine they're just projecting who's the best NBA player who will have the best career.
Yeah. It says, I'm reading the article right now. It says which NBA stars are the best young players in the league. I mean, if they're talking about right now, then the list is a little bit crazy. But if they're talking about projection into the future in a few years, or even by the end of the season, I can understand Wemby being there over a few other players, but not having any Nick in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they didn't have RJ, there was no shot IQ was going to make it, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty insane. I don't really get it. I'm apparently I am either not signed in or not an insider. I'm pretty sure I'm not an insider anymore, so I can't look at the whole list.
Oh yeah, me too.
Wemby was third. I kind of found it. I think I found someone that posted it on TikTok, so that helps. I can at least read the top 10. So it's Luka, Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama, Tyrese Halliburton. Wow. What? John Morant. Yo, this dude is Tyrese Halliburton. Right. Tyrese Halliburton is the goddamn Justin Herbert of the NBA. I swear to God. It looks great. People love him. Advanced stats, this, that, and the third. Win a playoff game. Just do anything that's not regular season based for 1 second of your life. What, you put up 50 against the worst, put up fucking 20 and 10 against the best, dude. Oh God, Jesus Christ. Tyrese Halliburton hurts me in my soul. I last year trolled the whole when Wally Zerback was fake all-star blah blah because he didn't give Rebecca Harlow a halftime what's it called, interview or pregame interview or whatever. Interview. And because Wally and Rebecca were together and she was pregnant with his kid, he went off, blah, blah, blah. I use that as this is a fun thing to do and troll, but Tyrese Halliburton gets so much not fully earned respect yet. Tyrese Halliburton and Trae Young both are two of the top 4 guys in assists. Trae Young has way more playoff success than Tyrese Halliburton last I checked, and Trae Young is not seen as nearly as good of a player or prospect because he has he can't shoot for the life of him and feels like jacking 30-footers. But I've seen Trae win playoff games before. So I don't know. Okay, whatever. John Morant's 5th, Cade Cunningham 6th, Zion 7th, Darius Garland's 8th, LaMelo Ball's 9th, Jaren Jackson's 10th. Let's see if I watch the whole video, if I could actually see the rest. I don't know. I don't even know if this will actually play while I'm actually on here with you.
I know someone posted it on Twitter, but I don't know if I could find that.
I can't see the rest. I know Alperen Sengun is 25th and Jalen Green was somewhere ahead of him, which is also insane because Alperen Sengun is way better for the Rockets than Jalen Green currently is, but people like flashy. They don't care about efficiency, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I am so mad at the Tyrese Halliburton thing. Just seeing this is crazy. Zion is 7th. And Darius Garland is 8th. And Ja Morant is 5th. Behind Tyrese. Yo, what? I can't even. Jerry Jackson's 10th. This man won Defensive Player of the Year. Yo, this is in. Oh my God, LaMelo Ball's 9th. He doesn't deserve it. Yeah. But like Tyrese Halliburton's 4th. I don't even know.
Wait, do you want me to read the rest?
Yeah. Oh, you found 11 to 15 or 11 to 25. Yeah. Go ahead.
11 Tyrese Maxey, 12 Evan Mobley, 13 Chet Holmgren. How do you say his last name? Holmgren. Holmgren. 14 Paolo Banchero, 15 Scotty Barnes, 16 Franz Wagner, 17 Jalen Williams, 18 Josh Giddey, 19 Jalen Green, 20 Walker Kessler, 21 Jalen Duran, 22 Tyler Hero, 23 Scoot Henderson, 24 Keegan Murray, and 25. I actually don't know how to pronounce his.
Alperen Sengun.
Alperen, yeah.
Yeah, it's Sengun. Sengun's going to be one of the top 10 players in the NBA in 5 years because he won. Like if he won the MVP for the Turkish National League, which is like the 5th best league in the world when he was 18 years old. And all history, it's the same thing. Luka won the MVP when he was 17 years old. All history says if you win MVP professionally at that young of an age, you're going to be one of the top NBA players. But he can't jump over a phone book and he looks boring, even though Nikola Jokic is literally the best player right now. Besides the point, Tyrese Halliburton. I am so mad at you. Yo. Where'd you at? Paolo's really low. Why is Tyler Hero on here and not RJ Barrett? Like Keegan Murray actually
crazy though this season so far.
I know he's been scoring like an MFer. I'm not mad that Keegan Murray's on the list. He was like the 3rd or 4th best player on a team that also made the playoffs last year. I just like seeing guys that are successful. Actually lead to wins, prove it successful. Cade Cunningham, he's pretty high, especially based on him having a lot of injury issues, but I almost feel like part of that was Detroit saying like, hey, I know you could come back in 3 months last year. We want a tank. We want more picks. Like, we'll get you a good team sooner or later. He's also been playing really good this year. How is RJ not like 17th on that list, you know? He's not even on.
I don't even know. There's a few rookies. Scoot Henderson. I agree with you. I think that a lot when they make these lists, I think, you look at the player individually, how they are as a player, but then you also kind of have to factor in their success as well. Some people don't rank like that, but it's just, if you make it to the playoffs, if you lead your team to the playoffs, that factors into who you are as a player as well, and that should account for your success.
Almighty Finesse in the chat is asking some good questions right now because Halliburton, dude, I want to just make it very clear. Halliburton's very nice. He's like, I would take Halliburton on the Knicks. Halliburton's nice, keep it a buck. And then what do you think about Jalen Ivey? Real quick, about Halliburton. He is nice. He already is a top 10 point guard in the NBA. I want to see wins, man. At the end of the day, you play the game. You play to win the game, Herm Edwards. That is what you play for. PJ Tucker has helped his team win more games throughout his career. Granted, he's like 37 years old. But like, if you're great in your role, and your role is being the best defender but the 7th best player on your team, but you're great at that, that's more useful than you being the best player on a team that can score 130 and give up 140. You're playing at the rec at that point. It's like YMCA style. Like, Halliburton's a turnstile on defense and gives up a crap ton of points and assists on his own. He just is amazing offensively. And I just want to see wins. And I'll let you go. How much have you watched like the Pistons in the past 2 years of like seeing Jaden Ivey at all before I go off about that?
Not at all. So you can go off.
Okay, so Jaden Ivey is the Knicks wanted to trade up for him last year, right? He was the 4th overall pick. They were like, how do we package some things, blah, blah. And then that didn't happen. And then Jalen Brunson and the rest is history up until this point. Jaden Ivey should be a point guard on a team. And the real crappy thing about his position and where he's at right now is that Cade Cunningham is way better and a way better long-term prospect and is the point guard and leader of the Pistons, and he won't not be for a while. And I'm not saying Jaden Ivey can't play off ball with him. I'm saying it would take a little while for him to actually get good at playing off ball with him because he's not a good shooter. Naturally. I'm telling you, I'll look up his stats right now. Last year, he shot 34% from 3 and 41% from the field. Not too bad, especially his rookie year, but he forced a lot of stuff. This year, he's actually shooting 41% so far from 3 in 6 games. Small sample size. He's only averaging 12 points. He's not taking a lot of shots. But I think Jaden Ivey is going to end up having to either, one, really adjust the way he plays, or they're going to have to just make sure they keep stacking him and Cade away from each other as much as possible, much like we're about to see the Clippers have to do with Russ and Harden over and over again. Like, if you have 2-point guard, it's like the QB thing. If you have 2-point guards, you kind of have none. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's just, I mean, they're all really young. It's really hard to judge. It's like so hard to judge a player that young, you know? Like, you don't really have a feel for what a guy's going to be until he's like 23, 24, 25 years old. I think Jaden Ivey and Cade, it might end up doing the same thing as the Kings did with Fox and Halliburton, where they have to we have to pick one and then see what we can get, what wing we can get by trading the other kind of thing. Because, they have Cade. I'm going to say they would probably want to keep Cade. They have Jalen Duren. Is Killian Hayes actually showing stuff? I mean, it took him 4 years, hopefully. I mean, he's shooting relatively well, but that dude had a broken shot, I thought. Isaiah Stewart's a modern-day 5 that's forced to play the 4, and Asar Thompson's, looking good so far. Really active. This dude had 15 rebounds yesterday. He's 6'6". He led the team in rebounds over Jalen Duren. Asar Thompson's 4th in the league in offensive rebounds. He's a small forward. It's pretty crazy if you see his name on the list because he's 6'6". No one else is below 6'10". Really cool stuff. But I think Jaden Ivey's going to be nice in 5 years or 4 years, but he's not going to be on the Pistons, basically.
And although I haven't really watched much of his game, of course I see on Knicks Twitter that people are trying to trade for Ivey. What do you think about that?
I mean, we already have 95 guards.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, you don't need another guard. But
could we get Asar Thompson? He plays small forward. That would actually be somewhat useful as a backup. We need a big. We need another we need a 3-4. We need a 6'9" guy. It's why I beat the drum so hard for OG Anunoby. It's why I would take Herb Jones. It's we need that. Yeah. Even if we could have gotten Harrison Barnes for cheap as a vet guy that's also 6'8". You know what I mean? That's what this team's really missing outside of the whole superstar, just the little by little, piece by piece thing. We need a superstar, but incrementally we need another wing.
Yeah.
But I would take Ivey, though.
You would?
Yeah, I mean, not immediately, but in 3-4 years we're not going to pay all 12 of these guards, you know what I mean? Sooner or later you have to consolidate.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I saw some people tweeting about it, potentially this could happen. But right now I don't see that happening this season or anything like that. No,
definitely not anytime soon. That's for sure.
Almighty has another question. You can go ahead and answer this.
Would I trade for Wiggins? I would love Andrew Wiggins on this team. Andrew Wiggins would help out so much. Can I turn Quentin Grimes into Andrew Wiggins somehow? Is that a thing I can do? Oh, God.
No idea.
The thing is, Wiggins makes what, 31 mil, 32 mil, something like that. So it'd be Fournier plus another guy. The thing is, any team we trade for this year, you can't trade DDV, you can't trade Josh Hart. They're literally off the table because of when they sign their contracts, and the 6-month period is over after the trade deadline. The most tradable guy that anyone would want on this team, guys, are RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickley. Does any Knick fan want to get rid of RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickley? Hell no. Not at all. Not getting rid of Jalen Brunson, and no team wants Julius Randle based on value, player, whatever you want to argue or be about. Mitch and Durant would be scary. That we already have a spacing problem, so I have no clue. Are we just throwing all lobs, just all grenades at the rim and hoping they just collect everything? The team shoots 25% from the field, but then they collect 90% of their offensive boards. How does that work? Also, which one of them's covering the perimeter? Because neither one of them is that. Durant's okay at it, but he's going to be better at it in 5 years. You know, you got some time for that stuff.
That would be scary spacing, wouldn't that be?
Yeah, if we're you know what, Julius Randle after every post game. Yeah, there's no space for me. I can't do anything. I know I shot 5 for 31 again, but yeah, I don't know. Look at the video of my kids hopping on me, man. Feel bad for me.
Oh, don't. You're shading our own account for posting that video.
Imagine having, I don't have kids, but imagine having kids and watching that video and being like, this MFer makes $31 million a year and someone has the audacity. And actually, so someone responded to our account like with comments from like old stuff like that, right? And apparently Russell Westbrook went to do the same thing like 3 or 4 years ago. I think it was when he was on OKC. Like when he was averaging triple doubles, but like then would collapse in the playoffs because like literally he dragged a team that didn't belong in the playoffs. It was him and Steven Adams kinda like to the postseason. They were starting like Jeremiah Earl Robinson, whatever that dude's name was, like that couldn't literally hit the broadside of a barn at 3 because he was a defensive guy. Like there was talk about no spacing on a team. And there was literally a dude tagged us and like sent a picture of like Russell Westbrook with his family, and like it was someone else's tweet from 4 years ago being like, y'all are clowning this man, but like look how a good family man he is, yada yada yada. And this dude was like, damn, y'all are down bad if you have to give Julius Randle the Russell Westbrook treatment. And I'm like, I think we are down bad. Yeah. 5 games in, down bad.
No offense to whoever posted that. I'm not sure if it was Vin or Ange, but especially because that came, my video talking about Randall and the lack of effort came, I think, either before or right after that post. So it was just very hilarious to see, you know, the switching up between.
Girl, your Randall video went off.
Crazy, but also that particular play was circulating so much. Even like ESPN, that NBA Instagram account was posting it, which is like a little bit crazy to me. I know like ESPN obviously covers, you know, sports and NBA, but to me it's just a little, I don't know, when they like call out the players and show them struggling like that. I don't know why I don't expect it, because obviously they cover it, but it's just, I don't know, to see it on national media is strange.
It was a nationally televised game on their network between the number 1 seed and the number 5 seed of the playoffs last year, and it was a New York market, and the other one has Giannis and Dame on it. It's kind of hard to not cover it.
True.
Almighty Finesse. I think most people would take Beal if not for him costing $45 million, and he had a no trade clause, so that was literally impossible. The guy chose to go to Phoenix. The only no trade clause in the NBA belongs to like the 48th best player. What a great agent Bradley Beal has.
Yeah. How is he doing in Phoenix?
He played his first game.
Oh, was he doing load management already?
He came in hurt. You know, the same guy's been hurt.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
A few games.
Yeah, no, he played his first game tonight. Let's see what this stat line says. He played 23 minutes and had 13 points on 3 of 12 shooting.
Oh.
Solid 25%.
Yikes. And how much is he getting paid?
$46 million. I think he gets paid more than Booker or Durant.
Where's the coverage for that? If he keeps doing that for a few games, I want to see the coverage that Randall got, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, he's the 3rd best player on the team, and he's not in New York, so who knows? So Almighty Finesse just wrote, do you see the Suns trading for Beal if they don't win at all? No, I've been on the Devin Booker hype train to the Knicks for a year and a half now because the breadcrumbs are just slowly going. They're slowly going. They're like, let's sell all of our pieces for Kevin Durant. He's not 36 years old with a formerly torn Achilles. Let's get rid of DeAndre Ayton because he hates it here. He wasn't a top 10 center that was actually only 24 years old, who the owner or didn't get like the GM or owner or whatever was happening there. Let's sign Bradley Beal. He hasn't had a bad back and bad hamstring for like the past 3 years, and he doesn't make $48 million. Oh, wait, we have a big 3. Your big 3 has played an average of 50 games in the past 4 seasons. What do you think is going to happen? And Devin Booker's the youngest one. He's part of CAA, and he is currently the best shooting guard in the league. And what do we need to improve the most in our starting lineup, Mill? The shooting guard.
Yes.
Nailed it. Sorry, Quentin Grimes. You can come off the bench or probably go in the trade. More likely that one. But I'm on the Devin Booker will be a Knick by 2025 bandwagon that I've been pushing by myself and the Twitter thread I'm in. It's very solo for like a year and a half. And they are sucking.
Want him on the Knicks too. I've wanted him on the Knicks for a few years now, but there's never any trade discussion about that. So I just don't think about it too much because it's never been rumored, and I don't think the Knicks are interested in him. I mean, they're definitely probably interested, but they're just not engaging in any trade talks around that. And look at the team they have now. They want to see, look at the team they've had for the past few years. Like you said, they're trying to see what's going to work, what's not going to work.
They made the finals 2 years ago. You don't get rid of that team.
Yeah, you don't get rid of that. So if he does go to another team, though, that'd be very interesting to see. If the Suns trade him, or does he enter free agency anytime soon?
No, I signed an extension. He signed to like 2027. If you're a superstar, you just because your own team can always pay you the most. Yeah. And as we've seen with Dame, I mean, you can't really choose where you go unless you're Bradley Beal with his best agent ever. As you've seen with Dame or like Jimmy Butler multiple times, like any other guy that's been traded, LeBron chose to do free agency over and over again, so he gets to pick where he goes. But like most guys just like, give me the super max, give me the max. I'll ask for a trade later. Even Giannis and Embiid in the offseason, they were both like, we're not asking for a trade, but like we want to compete for our title. If we can't compete for our title here, we'll be sad and angry and ask for a trade somewhere else. So you take the most money you can, and then you give your team. Dame did it partly wrong because he didn't give them a top 3. He was just like, send me to Miami, and they're like, F yourself. You give your team a top 3, and you're like, hey, send me to one of these 3 places. You can have the 3 of them bid against each other, and then you get to go wherever you want. We did break the ESPN matrix.
Nick's Anonymous is in here. He's one of Randall's biggest fans. FYI, he's usually in here talking about Randall all the time. I'm surprised he wasn't in here earlier. But how long have we been live for? It says 46 minutes already. Oh wow, the game ended that long ago. It doesn't even feel like we've been live that long.
Time flies by after a win.
Definitely. And we didn't really have that much to talk about because, like I said this before, that when you win, you know, it's you did everything great, but when you lose, there's a lot to discuss, a lot to fix and talk about and trade players. I'm kidding. But so yeah, a win is usually easier to talk about. Oh no.
Nick's Anonymous came in saying we broke the ESPN matrix, they can cry about it, and Brandon Roberts just replied, oh brother, Nick's Anon about to suck Randall off.
No, he's not even wrong though. Nick's Anonymous, if you're still in here, we know you support Randall. Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, he was mainly right though. He was supporting Randall because he knew he was eventually going to get in rhythm and eventually go back to the way he was. But yeah, hopefully Randall is in a rhythm that we won't, that he could stay in for the rest of the season, because if he has to endure another shooting slump, I don't know what's going to happen to this fandom, what's going to happen to the media. They're going to go ham on him again.
Respect that. I do respect that. And he will, unfortunately, they both, Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, and we don't have a superstar on our team at the end of the day. They're all good in their roles at times. They all have off games and they're bad at times. We have a team full of like roller coaster guys, but they stay together and they steady the ship on their own. You know? So it's like Jalen Brunson's not a top 10 player. He's not a superstar. Julius Randle isn't a top 7 power forward or top 5 power forward, but he's upper echelon. RJ Barrett is young and he's been good and bad at various times, and he can't even make the top 25 under 25. Even if we think that's BS and stupid, he still gets disrespected because of his inconsistencies throughout his young career and his shot. Let's be real. A lot of the people that make the list, the easiest way to stat track is you look at field goal percentage and you're like, hey, they can shoot well or they don't, and you go from there. And advanced metrics have hated RJ, and the shot hasn't been there a lot of the times. So like that's why he goes through up and downs. And then from there, it's like IQ is a great player, but like he also is on our bench. Josh Hart is a great glue guy. DDV is a great like bench piece glue guy. They're bench piece glue guys. Mitchell Robinson is an awesome center. Doesn't have much of an offensive game. So will always be disrespected one way or another, but they all come together as a unit and they make the train go. Then that's all you can really ask for. And for as much crap as I've ever given Tom Thibodeau, he, and to a lesser extent, Leon Rose. I like what Leon Rose has done for the most part, but more so Tom Thibodeau. They put together a team that he can easily manage and mold into his own vision with modern day NBA ideologies with 3-pointers and space and pace, but always having a big center in there. God forbid we ever played Randall and Obi together. But he always has a big center in there and gets to do what he wants. And this team will lead themselves to the playoffs and get themselves not to the promised land, but at least as far as we want. And if we could just see them improve little by little, day by day, week by week, month by month, we will be a top 4 seed. And maybe, just maybe one day, RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley are the second and third best players on a title team. And Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle are just the vets that showed them the way. Maybe Jalen Brunson's even on the team still. Maybe he's the second best player. I doubt Julius Randle would be. But they're the vets that led the way to make them actually get to the point of knowing how to take dubs in the playoffs. And that's all we can really ask for at the end of the day. Just to like somehow create a team that wins a title. That's it.
Wow. I think you sound like a prophet, honestly. You just like you full on said what could maybe happen in the next few years, especially the part where, you know, you said Brunson and Randall could be the vets and could have showed them the way. That's prophet talking right there. Hopefully, I don't know. Like I'm just gonna deal with what we have, not in a bad way necessarily, but just, you know, you do with what you have. That's what it is. We don't have a superstar on our team. We don't have a number one guy that is going to average 30 a game and, you know, for an entire season. But we have a few guys, glue guys you mentioned, and then we have players like Jalen Brunson and Randall that can give you 25 and, you know, play together really well and possibly lead this team to the playoffs, maybe even out the first round, maybe the second. Not to a championship.
Don't get too crazy. Don't get too crazy.
You know, I'm realistic. I'm not going to say that with the squad that we have now, we can make it to the championship. But, you know, because I don't want to think like that either, because I hate just limiting ourselves because, you know, every fan wants to make it to the finals. But we have to be realistic that this squad can't really get us there. I mean,
but they can bring us a lot of fun. They can bring us a lot of dubs.
Yeah, exactly. They can give us a lot of great games this year if they keep playing the way they did. Look at the stat line. Look at how they played this game. They were great tonight, and if they could keep that up, we're in for a great season. So hopefully we'll see more games like this where the Knicks are shooting great, unbelievable, and our big three, or should I say our mid three that we referred to as last year, can continue to perform efficiently and put up numbers like this. So without further ado, I think I will start to wrap this up just a little bit.
Can I give one stat before you wrap it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
They shot 46% from the field tonight and 45% from three, which will get you a lot of wins.
Yeah, definitely. But we did play the Spurs, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
So. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know. When's our next game? Friday?
They play the Hornets Sunday. They're off for a while. Yeah.
That's not fun.
But the Hornets also suck. They got destroyed by the Wizards tonight, just to really throw it out there.
Oh,
destroyed.
Man. What did Jordan Poole go for 40?
132 to 116. Kuzma went for 33, 9, and 4.
Wow.
Their bench scored 24, 36, 42. Holy damn, 57. Their bench scored 60 points. Oh my god.
Hey, that's insane.
Yeah, their next game's Sunday. Yeah.
Wow. I don't
bro,
know. That's a
the
big break though. Till
the
Sunday.
Wizards bench like 6 of these guys wouldn't even be in the league if they weren't on the Wizards. Like, how did you do that, Charlotte?
No, that's crazy. I don't. What's the most amount of points a bench has put up? I need to look that up after because 60 plus sounds insane.
It's a
The Knicks
lot.
bench put up like 35 the other night, and I thought that was crazy. I mean, they
Yeah.
usually do that every night, but it just felt like our bench was really dominant the other night. But yeah.
Bench mob, bench mob.
So I guess Sunday night I'll see you guys again. I would say 7 or 7:30. I'm not sure exactly what time it is.
It's at noon. It's a noon tip off.
Oh, it is. All right.
Yeah.
So a noon game. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't done a post game, after a noon game yet. So
We might want to wait till Monday just to not conflict with football. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't probably tune in if you wanted to actually do it Monday morning or Monday afternoon.
that's true. Football Sunday. I
Football's
mean,
king.
but thank you guys. Thank everyone for tuning in. Everyone that commented. We basically read everyone's comment. We can see it all right here. Even if we didn't highlight certain ones, I'm pretty sure I read most of them. Did you read most of them as well?
I just want to make sure I didn't miss the most important one. The
Which
Lakers
one?
are a disaster.
All right, I'll put that on the screen. When we're gonna end the show off with this comment on the screen. This is a Knicks post game, but Lakers are a disaster. Thank you for tuning in. Mill here. I will be signing off. Thank you, Joe, for joining me again. I enjoy having you here talking Knicks with me and everything else. And
Always a pleasure.
so I'll see you guys Sunday or Monday, like you said. And have a good rest of your night. Appreciate it. Peace.
Let's go, Knicks.